Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm JR. You're checking out the JR Sport Brief on V-103.com. Every week, I'm going to hit you with my famous top 6 list. We're going to have big-time interviews, and we're kicking this off with the top 6 owners in professional sports. We're not wasting any time. We're going to start off right here in the A. I'm talking about Mr. Arthur Blank, who's the owner of the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United. Listen. We know what happened to the Falcons in the Super Bowl a few years ago. They weren't able to get the job done, but in the second year of Atlanta United's existence, they won the MLS Cup. Mr. Arthur Blank is not afraid to spend the money and write that check. Hopefully United rubs off on the Falcons. Next up on the list, we're talking about the Holt family, Juliana and Peter Holt. They own the San Antonio Spurs. Look, they were smart enough to put Greg Popovich in charge of the team in the 90s, and the result, 5 NBA titles, and the San Antonio Spurs have seemingly been in contention every single year. Until we got to Kawhi Leonard and he wanted to jump ship. He is the anomaly. We're going to move over into baseball, and we're going to talk about the Steinbrenner family. Granted, the boss George is no longer around. Hank and Hal are running the show, but with 27 world titles in their entire history, Hank and Hal are spending that check when they want to, and they're still in contention. Look at Giancarlo Stanton. They took that money. They were not afraid of that. Let's go from New York to LA, and let's talk about Jeannie Buss. She took over for her father, Dr. Buss, after her other brother, Jim, could not run the show. This is a woman who basically pushed her brother out to keep the Lakers in contention. And what did she do? She brought in Magic Johnson. She helped bring in LeBron James. Even though LeBron James, you could argue, is now the real one running the franchise, you gotta respect the woman who goes out there and gets the job done. We're going back to football, and we are talking about the entire Rooney family, one of the first franchises in the NFL in 1933. They have 6 Super Bowl titles, and they're one of the teams that is all about consistency. I'm talking about Chuck Noll, Mike Tomlin, Bill Cowher. They don't just pick up and throw away coaches like teams like the Browns. The Steelers are a model of consistency that have kept them in contention. And every now and then you'll get a foul wide receiver who's a diva like Antonio Brown. But besides that, the Rooneys, Mr. Art Rooney II is running the show now. They are definitely one of the top ownership groups in sports. Last but not least, we got to go up to New England. We're talking about Mr. Robert Kraft. I know he's in trouble for all of that massage parlor stuff, but 6 titles since he took over the team. The New England Patriots are one of the biggest and probably the best dynasty the NFL has ever seen. Let's talk about 2 people who didn't make the list. Mark Cuban. Players love going to Dallas to play for the Mavericks, but he's had some issues with sexual allegations throughout the franchise. I'm sorry, Mark Cuban, and let's also stay in Dallas. A lot of people call the Dallas Cowboys America's team. Well, they have a meddling owner named Jerry Jones. When Jerry Jones decides to give up the reins on player development, the Dallas Cowboys will probably rise again. That's my list of the top 6 owners in all of professional sports. Who would you have on your list? I'm JR. You're checking out the JR Sport Brief on V-103.com.